Hello people. I do plan to get back to human design and law of one spiritual types of things. They are, after all, unique, and in this world that we are heading in, uniqueness is going to be very valuable, I suspect. But just at the moment, I am a little awed by Grok. So, while I was learning to code, I learned to code a bit 5 years ago-ish, a bit longer. And I had a lot of good ideas. One of the ideas I will mention now of what I think would be useful to people, what would be interesting to code. But there were small little hiccups, there were small little things I couldn't figure out. For anyone that is knowledgeable in these areas, I couldn't put the JavaScript within the website. I could code the JavaScript, but I couldn't link it to the website. And there was a whole bunch of stuff in HTML and CSS which I hadn't got around to understanding how it would be done. But I still wanted to make the idea that I came up with, and the idea that I came up with was for the guitar. Now, on the guitar, you obviously have 8 keys. You have A through G. And when you're playing on the guitar, we're talking about the pentatonic scale here, the most simple scale for rock and that kind of thing. Pretty much any style, really, except for classical. It's really the bare bones of being able to make any kind of spontaneous guitar solo. So you have something called pentatonics, and there are different positions for pentatonics. Obviously, if you are playing in A minor, there are different positions on the guitar. So, simply put, you could put your fingers at the very bottom of the guitar, you could put your fingers very top of the guitar, or you could put it anywhere in between. And obviously with something like a pentatonic scale, when you're practicing, you have a word for each position. It's not just going to be fret 5, it's going to be third position. As an example, so I got involved in other things. I would have loved to have carried on coding. I love doing it, but it wasn't meant to be, didn't happen. And so today I just thought to myself, oh yeah, this new brilliant AI thing is about, so why don't I just ask it to make me something? Like, we've already seen it make computer games if you've been on Twitter. And so, as you can see here, I asked it, and immediately it just wrote back with the code. Now, I thought there was more that I would have to do to make this a viable website, but no, you just create the specific kind of files there. So this is a CSS file, which is the very, very basics of coding. And it's given me 3 files. So that's your JavaScript, your CSS, and your HTML. And I only needed 2 or 3 more prompts to fix up some stuff that I hadn't asked it, basically. It wasn't that the AI had made any error at all. I just simply hadn't properly asked it for what I wanted. And this is those 3 files. Now remember, this happened in a split second. I asked it, boom, all 3 were there. To the extent that it was a bit like, oh wow, I'm just not used to going this fast. At first I was like, oh, maybe I should actually do this tomorrow, but I mean, why not? It doesn't actually take any effort. I just wasn't ready to be jolted into action like that. So let's open this website then. And here we are. It does exactly what you would expect. We'll wait down 60 seconds. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of the music, which I have already explained very briefly. But look, I'm going to start it. You can stop it. There's a little bit of a bug on pause, but you don't really need a pause. And it's not always there. I think that was just one time when I had a little bit of a bug on pause. Now, we've got the key here. We've got the position. And then the shape and the start point, I asked it to potentially be hidden. That's because if you want to play it on a kind of beginner level, you know that you're going to start with the F shape on fret 6, but once you are more experienced, you should be able to have G minor on the 3rd position and just do it. That is the point of it. But we'll leave that open so that we can see what's happening. There we go. 10. And there you are. So for 60 seconds you get to play that last one, which was G minor, and then you are changed to a different start point, a different key completely in the C minor. Obviously it only takes a Grok prompt to change any of these things. There isn't really a reason to play in the major keys, but you can do because it's complicated, but there's no actual difference between the minor or major keys in the pentatonic. There we go, that's what it looks like when you press stop. But I only need a few more prompts here. Like I might want it to stay in the same key. I might want to jump between 1st and 5th position in exactly the same key, and I could ask Grok to add some checkboxes for that, and it will do it in just a second. I'm sure that I could ask it to put in a few extra checkboxes to change the time. Maybe I only want to stay in one key for 30 seconds at a time, or I want to extend it to 3 minutes. But it's just literally a question away. Now, this level of coding, I don't think it would take that long to learn, actually. But the point is I asked Grok a question and it felt like it was less than a second that it produced this. For pretty much the first time since AI has come along, I have started to wonder if the human race is slightly redundant under this system. Obviously, a lot of coding jobs are very much in peril. I have worked in offices before. I think with this software, I could... Well, I don't know. I don't really know how every part of the business ran. But I do think that with this kind of software, you could probably eliminate a lot of jobs in most areas. I think I worked in fast food for a while. That requires a lot of physical hands-on things, and I don't know anything about robotics, so I don't think that job is quite so immediately under threat. But this level of sophistication is something, it's really quite, and we're at a fairly low level of sophistication. I understand that the Elons and the Sam Altmans and the whoever else is of the world have models that are way beyond this and just haven't released them yet. Maybe they haven't focused on the material element of finding something to sell out of these models. But I don't know. I don't know what my audience is like here at YouTube. I don't know what kind of people are watching this. Like, you may be very up on this stuff anyway. You may know about it anyway. This may be no news to you. But to me, this is quite surprising. This is quite a shock. So, yep, so I just wanted to say it. Thank you for listening.